We're on.
We call this Selectmen's meeting to order for February 25th, 2016. Present is the full select board, Melissa Randall, Tom Carone, myself, Bill Rowe, and our manager, Ken Woodbury. Would everybody rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Additions to the agenda.
Abatement is under abatement. The warrant articles under the warrant article. There's email requests from Rick Dobson, which is under new business. Dover Foxcroft MRE trash is under communications, and minutes of the special select board meeting last night I handed out. They're not necessarily there for your approval because I've asked Rick Prellin to weigh in on them, and so, but at least you have them and we can approve them at another meeting.
For some reason, I don't seem to have an agenda.
Yeah.
Can you get the latest copy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I could have gone over and got it myself.
What?
I could have got it myself. I'm sorry.
That's the
Sitting here
latest.
feeling behind the curve.
On the agendas today, I should have not only put the dates, I should have put the minutes and the seconds, so we'd know which ones were which ones.
Next item up is the open forum, half-hour time limit. Anybody have anything to say, comments, complaints, or otherwise remarks? Guess not. Communications.
MRC.
Oh,
Yes.
ERY, we don't have much of a choice.
No, we have no choice whatsoever.
Dover's going with MRC. We don't go with MRC, we can't send our trash to Dover.
Although I will tell you this that I heard from Eric Tuttle, our local trash expert. He tells me that the state law is written such that if we decide not to go in with either one of them, we can open up our own pit again if we want to.
Do we want that headache?
Just to throw it out there.
So there's a meeting on March 14 with the of MRC with the Dover Select Board. So it'd be nice if one of you officials would go, like Tom.
I'm telling you right now, this whole rigmarole is just unbelievable.
It is, absolutely.
Of course.
When I went to the meeting in Parkman, I didn't have any idea who the presenter was going to be. I just figured it was an informative meeting. Well, yeah, it was an informative meeting, way slanted towards PERC.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And evidently, from what I could gather from Pat Johnson, select board member over there, and also from Mickey Knowles, another select board member from Abbott, was that the meeting that I couldn't make because it conflicted with a select board meeting prior to last week, it was geared towards fiber right.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you know, we've got two factions here that are going to be saying different things, like politicians talking about fighting against
Out of the side of
each
their
other.
mouth, huh?
And yeah, I mean, the PERC, what I got from just one-sided part of it, the PERC presentation sounded pretty good.
Well, of course it would.
Yeah, because they're trying to sell themselves, just like obviously Fiber Right probably did on the meeting prior to that. Now, there was a name that was thrown out by PERC, and here again, whether it's somebody on their side or not, supposedly it isn't, somebody that's unbiased and impartial. It was Roger Raymond.
Yeah.
His last name was Raymond.
Yes.
And evidently he's very in the middle of the road, giving opinions on both sides. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It would be really interesting, I think, if he is going to be at this meeting in Dover Foxcroft.
What's the date on the meeting?
14.
14th.
That's March.
6:30, I think it was.
6:30.
Roger Raymond is a long-time town manager in like Belfast or
That Roger,
one of
right.
those. And then he filled in for a while as town manager in Milo.
Okay.
Oh.
And then,
He's a
because he
straight
was kind of
shooter.
retiring, yeah. He's
I think it would be
a good
interesting
person.
To hear.
to call him and just give him two questions. You know,
Here's
one is,
what-
what do you think of fiber right, and what do you think of,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, perk?
See, what I don't like about fiberite comes down to one. Now, the original, when we had them in last year, we had the big hoop-de-doo. We had
Was it louder?
Lounder, yeah. He's the MRC guy. We had him in the fall. And the issue at the time was that the Penobscot Indians were all upset, and the people of Alton and Greenbush.
Yeah, I went to the meeting in Orono where
Right.
where the Indian tribes all showed
Right,
up.
okay, so you heard it all. So we had him up here because actually Sangerville Sanitary District is one of the, whatever it
Was
is.
it charter?
No, they're in the suit against the Penobscots.
Which has been settled.
Which I think has been settled, but I don't know. But at the time they were in the suit, and it was all about the water table and everything
Water
over there.
purification.
And so our only interest was that was not the site, and so we weren't really listening to him about fiber rate or any of that.
No.
All I know, it has to do with boiling trash.
I don't even know if they had much of a conversation about fiberite at
No.
that one.
No,
didn't.
they were talking about membranes and leaking into the Penobscot and all that kind of
well, I
stuff.
don't know the Penobscot, but where they were locating it was right off a large section of swamp there, which is peat bog.
Right. So there was all sorts of issues around their site. Now that's where I left off last fall,
Yeah.
because I didn't follow it after that. So if you know that there's more, we don't have to run with Dover,
But if we don't, where are we gonna take our trash?
Perk. And we
That's
could,
gonna cost us a lot more to do it.
I think so.
Well.
I don't know, I haven't heard of he's
Depends on who you listen to.
Well, it also means where do the residents go?
Well, the thing was, is back in the day with the Perk deal, we didn't get what we were supposed to get out of it. We ended up paying, we're a charter member of Perk, and we never got
No bennies?
we never got the bennies that were, now that makes me skeptical about them on this end of it too, right?
Oh, yeah.
But we never got the bennies we were supposed to get. I mean, when they're paying $20 a ton down in Alton, Massachusetts, and hauling it up here, and they figure that's okay because that counts in their trucking cost,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling happy about that at all.
Yeah, Fiberite said they don't take out of state.
Wow.
Well,
Right,
that's
and
now.
as
Why?
now, and is there anything to prevent them in their charter from doing it in the future?
Oh, I don't know. But
Right.
that's-
So, but I mean, I think
The
there's
cheat sheet on them says.
But I suspect there's the opportunity right now at the moment, not necessarily to save us from fiberite, but to get some concessions from them, that where we all hanging together up here in the north end, we might be able to get some concession that says they won't take it out of state. You know.
Well, they're gonna take it, whatever they need to do, what they need to do.
Well,
Make it work.
that'll tell us how, and they also said back in the day, Lounder said that it was experimental. That nobody had ever done
There's
was
only one
on
plant, it's down
Right.
in Virginia.
Virginia, someplace,
West Virginia.
West Virginia, great.
Well, I listened to a radio.
Appalachian, my people,
I listened to a radio interview of the fellow with a British accent. I can't remember his name. He was on VOM radio as a guest and explained that supposedly in Europe they've got a number of these facilities that are up and running right now. And of course they make them sound like they're viable and successful and whatnot. But the time conflict, I don't know if you want to talk about that in regards to us making a decision, plus the town
Well, they
meeting,
want us to
plus...
have it on a warrant, on a town meeting fairly soon.
Because the fellow from Perk, he said Perk would like to have an answer from the towns that are interested in going on board with them by sometime in June, which obviously is a little bit later than March,
If we don't,
or April 2nd.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to make a decision by the time of the town meeting.
No,
So
no.
it means we'd have to have a special town meeting.
but that we can do right in here, because
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be a pretty limited group of people that even have anything to say about it, because they're gonna have to take some time to
this deal about boiling the trash, I don't know if any of you remember or knew that Charlie MacArthur created a boiler to burn any kind of trash, to dispose of it. And the state of Maine just wouldn't go along with it. He tried his best to get a license here.
I remember that on the radio because I paid quite a bit of attention to it. It basically came down to the fact that he was all set to go until he found out it was going to cost him over $1 million for the testing
Yeah.
from the EPA.
Yep.
And he says, "That's it, I'm done, see you later."
But his
Bye."
boilers were at that time
Yeah.
working in the Philippines at least,
Yeah,
and probably other places.
yeah.
They eat all sorts of things in the Philippines.
But anyway,
Charlie can't help us out
so
I think
now.
DEP is real strong in the Philippines.
Yes, oh, they're wicked bad.
Well,
So Tom was gonna go, right, on the
Yeah.
14th?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I would still, if this Mr. Raymond isn't there, then I think it's sometime, like a phone call thing
We
here
can talk with him, yeah.
you and myself and him.
I know there's plenty of people in this town that would be very interested in this if they knew about it.
I can put it out on our,
Yeah, kind of just put
Resident
it out
thing,
there that,
saying this,
Yeah, and see.
there's a meeting on.
Because I've
when it is,
heard
and
many,
they're
many-
interested.
there's many of them that aren't happy about the fact with the perk deal, we sign into a certain amount of tonnage. And so if you're a religious recycler, you're actually hurting us because
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
counterintuitive.
I used to tell Polly, just geez, shuck it, babe, and she wouldn't, no, I have to recycle this,
Now, one of the things that I got from this fella Bob from, I can't remember his last name, from PERC, was that if we sign on with them, then our tipping fees are going to stay constant for 15 years. Okay? And we won't get penalized if we're under the tonnage. You know how we get, just like you were saying, if you're under
Right,
the
well, that
tonnage,
would be like a real selling point to a lot of people around here.
you know, whether he's blowing smoke or just promising the moon or playing politician.
Well, you'd have to
I
give us
don't
some
know.
sort of ironclad contract that would be happy with
Is
before.
that inked?
No, well, he spoke for an hour and a half before anybody started asking him questions. He had quite a run to get through of selling his company, obviously, because
Yeah, because
Okay.
if this takes off in a big way, they're out of
the
business.
reason why, what he explained was in 2018, they will have paid off all their debt and they'll be free. This way, they won't have to be committed to a lot of obligations that they've put on towns in the past. Whether or not that comes true,
But how many millions of dollars has MRC salted away?
yeah.
And that's the part that offends me the most out of the whole thing.
You have about $1,000.
We have $1,000, but they have millions
No,
that they have put
You
in.
might want to check on that because their number cruncher that was there, he threw out that supposedly the town of Sangerville has somewhere in excess of $100,000 sitting somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I
in
said,
that case.
we have about
Well, I
100,000.
thought you said 1,000.
Did I say 1,000?
Yeah.
Well, I meant
They have-
100,000, yeah.
But MRC has put millions of dollars away at all of our expense. And they're complaining because they're not getting the electrical reimbursement from, that they used to
And they'll
get.
get less in the future.
I'm playing that sad, sad song for them, but when they're putting millions of our dollars away, it seems to me like they took off and they're their own entity now, where it was supposed to be the, municipal review committee. Someplace that turned corporate, and now we've got the MRC living its own life out there in,
That's,
it
what
stinks,
happens, yeah.
and whether
So-
we get caught up in it or not, I don't know how to prevent it.
So what puzzles me most is when you see the notices and whatnot that come from MRC, whose actual backing do they have? I mean, are they with PERC or are they with Fiber Right or are
They're
they
with
spo-
Fiber Right.
Fiber right.
They're with Fiber Right, right?
and the contact here is Greg Lauder, Executive
Lauder,
Director. Lauder.
Yeah. He's very genuine. I mean, he was here, he took it hard that night, and I felt kind of sorry for him.
Boy.
I did. But on the other hand,
Did you say that Dover went with a new outfit?
No, they went with MRC.
that's Fiber Right.
Fiber Right.
That's in,
That's Fiber Right.
so
They-
if we
Hand
chose,
in.
okay, if we chose to go with PERC,
we'd have to make other arrangements for
That was
disposing
the
of
question,
it.
where do you reload and?
Yeah,
Did Mid-Maine's in Dexter, have they
I haven't
committed?
heard
I
anything
don't
from
know.
them.
I mean,
That
there's
might be
places we
something you
go.
could do, is call Dexter and see where they stand on this.
Because we don't have something close by.
Yeah,
Well, Dexter is,
Dexter's close enough. Right, I've
Oh, yeah.
heard that some of our
a lot of our
trash
stuff-
busters' trash goes right to Dexter.
See, Mid-Maine is what, Exeter?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we-
St. Albans,
yeah,
Yeah, all through there.
Dexter, it's quite a,
Garland, all that,
Big
all,
thing out
yeah, all those going on.
We have a long agenda.
okay,
It's just really fascinating. We love
so we
trash.
need to move on
Trash
for now.
Trash talk.
Well, I can talk trashy anytime you want.
All right, further in correspondence, just a note to you. We had A. Robinson here to take a look
Oh,
at
yeah.
the baseboard. We had a problem with the heat pumps, worked fine, but where we have obstructions in front of the baseboard heating, the cold air came in faster than the heat got to them, and we had, in my office, freeze up. Luckily, didn't break a pipe. 2 other areas we had broken pipes. So what we're going to do is have the water taken out and replaced with an antifreeze, and the total cost for that's $290.93. So the nice thing about that is if we get electricity going off on a weekend or something like that, our baseboards heating would be protected from freezing. So take that out of the oil.
I guess the point on this was that the heat worked perfectly, but they were also the cause of the problem.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Two other notices. I was a little concerned about how much we're not getting on our undesignated revenues, so I went to Camden and asked what other possibilities there are for, has to be liquid and it has to be guaranteed, can't be speculative. As a result of that, they just on their own doubled our return on our undesignated revenues. Now, to say that it was doubled, it went from
Wow.
0.01 to 0.02.
But that means if they did that all on their own, they're afraid that we're going to go shopping to other banks, which I think Bangor Savings should hear from us very soon. Yes, because I think we can get, yeah.
Anyway, second, I put out on the blogosphere, my email, Channel 2, Saturday, 7 p.m., Bill Green's Maine will be featuring the 2 nights of Sangerville. Channel 2, Saturday, 7 p.m., if you have a TV.
What's a TV? Is it like
A picture box.
It's a radio with a
We'll
picture.
hook you up, Tom.
Okay. That's,
Go to a bar or something.
that's it for communications.
Okay.
Okay, move on to approval of selectmen's minutes. First would be the February 9th, 2016 select board meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Do you have anything, sir?
I'm looking, see if I made any notes. No, okay with me. That was a big one. I'll second.
All those in favor? Next, we got the February 11th special select board meeting.
Anybody else want to do it?
That was the 11th.
I will make a motion we accept.
Second?
Any further comments?
No.
All those in favor?
Attached to it will be the void.
Okay. And you'd like us to table the 24th?
Well, yeah, I'd like Rick to weigh in or anyone else. Just
Okay,
to
make a motion to
sure.
table on the 24th?
Second?
Vote?
All those in favor? Unfinished business.
The recall ordinance presented by petition. You have a copy of the response from Eaton Peabody
Yes.
with regard, came in by email. I gave you the email one. We now have the hard copy by mail, came in today.
And the lawyer's letter says that, well, you explain it.
The attorney opinion is that the part of the petition that has to do with recall of elected officials meets all legal requirements, but the addition of appointed officials if they're subject to recall without any cause, then they're denied due process, and it is unconstitutional. And that's the issue. That the public employees have a protected interest in continued employment since they cannot be removed without cause and without due process of law, and recall denies them due process of law and any cause. They can't even have a hearing. And
So it directly violates certain sections of
Yeah.
state statute.
both the United States Constitution and the Maine Constitution are cited here, that the individuals are entitled to protections of due process, and that is denied them if they're subject to recall without cause. And therefore, it would be, even if the town passed it, then it would become the town's responsibility to defend an unconstitutional law. And on the way you can find an attorney, since the town's attorney has said, in effect, don't do it. And I think there's another issue with the insurance. Under officers' liabilities, etc., you've asked for the attorney's opinion, not to take the attorney's opinion. I'm not sure you'd be covered under our insurance policies for suits by employees for termination of services without due
Besides
process
which you
of
paid
law.
the solicitor for his opinion, why do we throw that money away?
So I think you're,
So I guess the first step is to make a motion to rescind the motion that was made, 2 meetings ago, to
rescind allowing the
petition
ordinance
to
by
be
petition to go to the town meeting as a warrant article.
as a warrant article. Anybody second?
Well, I'll second it to get it into discussion.
And now, any further discussion? You have something?
No, as far as I'm concerned.
Me neither. It's up to you, sir.
The legal number of valid voters did sign the petition.
But they couldn't be expected to realize, be
Right.
familiar with the legalities of it. And their presence of their signature only indicates they want to further the process,
Right.
without whether or not they're going to approve it in the warrant.
Exactly. It's not a town vote.
Further, we do intend to put a recall ordinance warrant article for the town, in the town report for this coming town meeting. So they will have a choice. Mr. Dobson?
So what you're saying is you're gonna refused to put ours on
That's right.
and replace it with yours.
That's right.
Well, that's not this, that's, the motion doesn't say that. The motion is just not to put this one on because of the.
Well, the next step will be to put this on.
Because yours doesn't meet the,
Normally, if you get a petition article in and it has errors, then the process is to put in an alternative ordinance, correcting those errors and putting it in front of people to vote on. Now, where the issue is, the big issue that you guys have and the attorneys have is the appointed officials.
recall of appointed
Well, if you
officials.
recall back 2 years ago, I had a Board of Selectmen ordinance started, and Melissa Randall insisted that we added
I don't
everybody.
remember that, and that's ancient
I have it
history.
on tape, but I know that, I'm telling you, that's a fact.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter, because this is all related to one. Been 2 years working on this to get it in front of people without interference. Now,
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
On that point, wasn't it that the appointed officials needed to be on there for the ethics?
no, on the
ordinance?
recall.
Okay.
She specifically stated on the recall part of it. She wanted
Well-
everybody included. And beyond that, 9 months later, it was never spoken up and never talked about, and then it was snuck in 2 or 3 days before the end of time meeting last year. This year, on June 11th, the town's attorney said that our ordinance was legally correct and could be put in front of the citizens for a vote.
He did not have the,
With a petition that could be circulated and put in front of people with a vote. And then after that, he says, now, if I think it's wise, this is his personal opinion, or he thinks it's wise, and he goes on to give us a personal opinion. There was nothing mentioned about, at that time, any problem with appointed officials.
well, you
Had
also,
he said that at that time, which is this exact same ordinance, we could have corrected it back then. And we do have a correction now, if you people were willing to go ahead and put it on your warrant.
we can't do it that way.
Don't
Because,
tell me you can't do it that way. You've
I
done it
just
all
did.
over the years. You have always had a recall ordinance, and if the attorney gives you an opinion on it, he tells you this needs to be corrected, this needs to be corrected, you guys put in an alternative ordinance, you give the citizens a vote, an opportunity to pass over the petition article and vote on the
but the issue of passing over on previous years, in my experience, had nothing to do with the legalities of the ordinance.
yes, it did. Every
Yeah.
one of them was the ordinance that you guys didn't like, had legal problems, legal issues. So you worked together with the petitioners to correct those. Ask the population at the annual town meeting if they want to pass over that and accept a corrected recall ordinance.
Well-
Corrected ordinance.
It is a different situation in our viewpoint,
The only
and
difference is this ordinance is interfering with you guys, and we the citizens are putting an ordinance in for you guys. And the other difference is you guys, normal petitions and ordinances, you guys get together and you're working to tell us what to do. This one is telling you guys what you can do, what you can't
Wow.
do. So it's taking away your power.
And what you're doing is unconstitutional,
No, it is
illegal.
not. It
We
is
can't
certainly-
enforce it, so
It
we ain't
certainly
doing
is
it.
not, and it is enforceable, and your attorney said it was legal, and no legal issue.
Let's take
Before
this to
he
the vote
studied
and
it
stop
in-
arguing, because we're not getting anywhere here, because we never get anywhere with him.
right, now, as far as I'm concerned, you have any further?
Yeah, I do. I'm probably going to go against the grain here, and it's probably going to be fruitless, and I hope, actually, in a way, I hope it is fruitless, is that I've been thinking about this for some time, about the will of 119 people that signed that petition, whether they understood it or not. In my thoughts, I believe it should still be presented to the town for a vote, okay? I also dearly hope that if it does for some reason get presented, that a very good explanation will be made about the problems with it.
Well, let's,
And the end result is that I hope it gets either passed over or voted down. But I'm thinking about the 119 people that
Okay,
signed it,
let
whether they
me
understood it
address
or
that for
not.
just a second. Last year, we had this same deep discussion because we actually had Mr. Mistowski right here at the table with us saying, don't put it on, it's too flawed, it's too ambiguous, it's too, you know, he had a list. And you two said, okay, we put it on, take it to the people, they vote it. You two said, I'm sure they will vote it down, and then that'll put it to bed.
But it didn't get put to
It
bed.
didn't, it was a 2-1 defeat last year.
It was
Now you
sneaky.
speak quiet, we're not talking to you.
It was a sneaky.
Yeah.
Enough,
It's not.
enough. We're not arguing with you, we're talking. You be quiet.
Then
So,
don't point your finger at
She
her.
pointed at me, I just pointed back at her.
just stop, you baby.
Go ahead,
So the issue is, okay, so we went. It was 2-1 defeat. What irritates me is there were 30 people in that room that didn't hear what we had to say. 30 people who were so partisan, so biased, so wrapped up in who knows what. And then you remember when he brought it in back in January, I knew from numerous people telling me that there was another sheet of paper with it. And you were upset, Tom, because I went after him to bring it in. And what was it? Basically undercutting the town's attorney, saying that the town's attorney lied, accusing us of lying, accusing me of all sorts of things. He not only is after me, he's after Thad, he's after our town manager, right? Goes around door to door, spreads this crap, and he has no basis of fact in it at all. And he doesn't, and how do we defend ourselves from this? We spent $2,500 last year because we thought it was credible to come back and say, look, these are the facts. And they were the facts. Thad was willing to go to court on them, right? So where does this stop? We got one guy in town who keeps causing us bill after bill after bill after bill. This is at least $5,500 he's cost us so far. We probably got another $500 in it right now. We sat down a month ago, came up with the best recall ordinance we could come up with that we felt was fair and we thought was defensible. And Thad and them are busy down there shaking it out to make sure it's legal. So at this point, how do we stop the bleed of money? That's my point with this whole thing. We've got one guy on a rampage. He has put, at least 30 or 40 different stuff up on YouTube. He's secretly taped Bill, put that on YouTube. Taped himself doing it, put that on YouTube. I've got the tapes. I can show you that. If you think that that's decent behavior, you want to sit in the selectman's chair and have to deal with that? You think that's good for the town?
You looking at me?
Yeah, I'm looking at anybody in this room who wants to meet my eyes at this point. This is not good for the town and it needs to stop. And the only way I see to stop it is to cut it off at the knees.
And that's perfectly okay. My point is, I still feel in my heart that I want to respect 119 people. I will speak out against passage of this at town meeting.
Well,
I don't-
it won't get,
If it,
not
I don't-
gonna get-
I know it's not going to go there, but I'm just saying that
It ain't
I
gonna.
would get up and make a statement against it because of that appointed. I went through the scenario with a town employee that was appointed, that was dismissed,
Absolutely.
with-
This goes
with-
right back to that again.
out-
Absolutely.
the steps to go through, all right, and I saw what kind of trouble that we got into, and that's why, but I'm just speaking from two different areas. One is to respect the 119 people.
But-
Anybody can get up and say at that time, and I will, if if it, I know it's not going to get on there, but if it did, in a hypothetical situation, I would make a statement against it too, in reference to the prior case that we had with an employee that was
Okay,
dismissed
let me ask you something else.
incorrectly.
Do you think it's reasonable that if somebody brings a recall ordinance for any reason, being that your feet stink or I don't like your mother's nationality, because there is nothing in there to stop anything, okay? Nothing.
Well, what was
And-
the word? Probable cause or
Yeah.
something caused.
But
it,
probable
yeah.
cause
It's pretty
of what?
ambiguous, it is.
Right.
It is.
So if you can, my wife and I don't like you. My wife and I don't like your husband. My wife and I don't like your dog, your neighbors, the part of town you live in, whatever
Yeah.
that's going on. Is that a reason to have a recall election? Because, you know, we solve our differences in the voting box. We vote in town meeting. And if you're going to take it beyond town meeting, so somebody gets elected and there's a faction that don't like it, and so runs around, gets up enough, and we're back in. Towns have been crippled by that in other places.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't. Like
And
I
the
said,
fact- and the
I
fact
can
that-
read the handwriting on the wall. I
Well,
know how
no,
it's-
but
how
you
it's-
need to hear the other part of it
No.
too. The other part of it is, okay, so they can bring the recall ordinance. There's nothing in his particular ordinance that says they can't come back and do it all again 2 weeks later. You could be doing this and doing this and doing this, and we could be crippled. And you know, there's very little. Most people don't realize it. We do because we deal with it all the time. We only can deal with monies and and directives that come out of town meeting. If the town doesn't tell us to do it, we can't do it.
So,
Excuse me, Bill.
what?
I just
I don't wanna hear
I
anymore.
want to let you know that we have no problems addressing your issues. We have no problems with taking appointed officers. We have no problems with putting a time limit on it. We have no problems making this acceptable. But you people have just refused to work with me on this. On
We
anything.
tried to work with you in the beginning and you...
You would
just-
not work with me.
What is these
Oh,
pieces
look.
of paper and crap you've been inundating with for days? No, we're not working with you.
Statutes.
No,
MMA.
no, you don't
manuals.
have a law degree, you don't know what
Okay.
you're talking about. You're done.
Answer- excuse me.
Oh, no.
No, I don't want to hear it.
Her.
No,
Let me answer to her.
there's no answer to it.
You're done.
Just drop it.
May I answer?
No, I don't want to hear you.
No.
I've heard more of you
No.
in the past 2 years,
There's
and I want to
nothing
hear
you can
ever.
say at this point.
There's nothing you could say that could possibly interest me.
Okay.
I'm all done.
All right, then I move for a vote. All those in favor of not, well, you read the,
Rescind allowing the petition to go to the town meeting as a warrant article due to the town's attorney opinion that allowing recall of appointed officials without cause violates due process clauses in Maine and U.S. Constitution and dismissal without cause or hearing.
all those in favor?
And you know what?
Opposed?
I think that should go on that you put it that way, Tony.
That's right. I
You
want
want
it
your-
in the record. I want my vote in the record all the time. And I know, according to Robert's Rules of Order, I'm not supposed to explain what my vote is. Or
I like
after
it
a point of
explained.
discussion. But the point is, it's just in respect of the 119 people that
We
forward.
did-
Even though I don't believe in it, I think it should still be forward and
No.
the people educated.
We gave the 119 people, most of them who I don't even recognize their names because who knows where you found them. We
They were
gave them,
validated by the town
I know,
clerk.
we gave them a decent ordinance, and Eden Peabody's giving them a decent ordinance that gives real reasons why you might not want a selectman in there, such as felonies, being arrested for a felony, being convicted of a felony,
Not this.
real reasons, not just I don't like you and I don't like the things that you've done or I don't like the way you've talked to me. Well, you know what? If you put crap all over the internet about me, I'm not going to talk to you so really nice.
So in order to further carry this on, I make a motion that we do not include the petition ordinance in a warrant article for the petition ordinance in the town report.
And you make sure you get the 43 people and you spam them with all your crap.
Control her, please.
Oh, control me, go right ahead.
This is our meeting.
This is our meeting, you're just here. You're just
said you
here.
want the answer to
You
that.
have
Please
spammed
don't
people
control
on
You-
email for
you do
months.
Control her.
Okay, let's just drop it. And I make a motion. The motion is to,
I don't understand it. It doesn't go in the town report anyway.
We can't stop him from being him.
well, all this motion did was withdraw our motion to put it in.
To put it on the, as a warrant article.
Yeah.
So that eliminates.
I'm further,
But it doesn't, that's it. It doesn't go in the town report anyway, because if it were a warrant article, it would be in there. But it wouldn't be in there absent a warrant article.
no. But,
We don't have to rescind.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not,
not-
it's not necessary.
It's not in the,
Okay.
it's not in the, it would
No.
not be in the town.
Incomplete
report.
motions, partial motions, all that kind of stuff is just crap.
okay, so I guess we can move on then. New business.
First one is you have a report from the select board for the town report.
Yes.
And you all to take a look at it and then either singly or collectively.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Somebody-
sure, we need to have a moment to,
I read that. It was good.
I'm not sure that we want to say everything I said in that though.
Oh, I do. I like it just the way it was
I only
written.
had one little addendum to put in there.
Do you think we dare go that far?
Hmm?
Do we dare go that far?
Yeah,
I don't know if I can find it.
What'd you want to put in?
No, it was just something towards the tail end, just thinking.
You had somebody you wanted to recognize, I think you said.
Thanking the people for, oh, it's here.
And of course, we put a more formal ending on the whole thing, and I
What-
leave it to you to do.
What didn't you like that you put in? I'm surprised.
Oh, I was laying it all out there. I thought, that kind of was kind of bold for us.
well, we need a little more paperwork.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you don't lie to me.
Well, why don't we just do it that if you're okay with it, go in and put an okay on it on Ken's copy, and
Yeah,
then
it is. I knew it was there.
Just a short little.
Yeah, if you feed as me, then I can, because someone at this table has email. I can email that person and have them fix it. I got two Neanderthals.
Well, that all depends on your point of view.
I didn't say which one.
they just like to come visit with you. Okay.
Here it is.
Yeah.
The only thing I kind of wanted to say, just to spur more people on to get involved in some of the things, to recommend involvement by any interested residents to any and all meetings as they are open to the public.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
That's all.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
So just give it, you have to give it to
Oh,
me.
just give that piece of paper to him, and he'll
Tomorrow.
marry it on.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, fine.
well, how long are you going to be in the office?
Well, I'm coming in early to do the minutes, then I have to have to be at the chancellery by 10:30.
So you'll be leaving at what time, sir?
Well,
Okay,
it takes,
30?
yeah.
Okay. Well, if not, then I'll leave it on your desk.
10:38, probably so. I'm going to be.
If you give it to me, I'll email it to him, and he'll get it.
So, but I'm not going to do anything with it tomorrow anyway, so Monday would be fine, Tom.
Oh, okay.
All right, okay.
That's
So-
fine, very good, that's all.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
2015 audit, I need to
Yeah,
sign off that
Make
it's
a motion to
okay.
approve. I thought it was good.
yeah.
if they're happy, I'm happy.
I was very happy with this one.
Okay, who
Yeah.
seconded it?
I second it, I guess.
Yeah. Geez, there was so very few journals. Bravo. Bravo. You guys should realize he went and took classes on trios and everything so that he would get it right, and he has got it right. Bernice was very happy.
Okay, all right.
Bernice the auditor.
Bernice, the auditor.
Bernie's,
Yeah. He was
Okay,
happy
so
with,
you got
he
something for
coded
us to
everything
sign?
right. There wasn't
No, it's for me
moving.
to sign.
The only two things
Oh,
that
for
ended
you
up
to
in
sign,
contingency
okay.
I
was
think it's for me to sign.
streetlights and
The 2% discount.
we put out more than just, that was the only two things that ended up in contingency.
That'll be an interesting vote
So
at
that
town
was-
meeting this year.
That's a coup. That really is.
It was
good.
500 and some dollars over on a discount.
That was two things we couldn't control.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't need to
That was
vote
really
on it.
good.
Vote, I make a motion, yeah, we'd
No, it's
already
already
done
been
it. All those in favor?
Yep.
Okay.
Me, Bill, 3-0.
The second one is Town of Sangerville Administrative Policy for Road Projects.
Yes.
Yes.
This is your 2013
Yes.
one. And then the additions and subtractions were in
Yes.
bold was the addition and in brackets were the subtractions.
I make a motion to approve.
I second the motion. I do have one small question, it's more of a, I feel that if you put for all purposes except routine maintenance supplies over.
Okay, I didn't change your 2013 wording.
Okay, but that would read more clearly.
Okay, I can,
That's the only thing.
so Melissa
Yep.
made the motion.
Right. Bill seconded it. Is that an amendment, Bill?
Just, as he's written it down in the middle, all purchases except routine maintenance supplies over the amount of $100 are to be done with the town purchase orders. I'd
Yeah.
like to see it said, for all purchases except for routine maintenance supplies over the amount of $100 to be done with town's purchase orders. I think it makes it a little clearer.
Yeah, I can go with that. Can you, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything further?
I didn't make any other notes.
All those in favor?
Sign it.
Sign it, he says.
What the hell made you first certain?
He is. He's first sergeant. You sign it.
Sergeant at Arms. The next one is the job description for the Public Works Director.
I like it. I really like it. Make a motion to approve?
Thomas?
Yep, I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Sign it.
Just so you know, there was some growling, but this is good, so.
You didn't growl at me, no.
No, he only growls at you.
Okay, now,
I said it was done with love.
request for warrant article.
Yes. We have a request from
Oh, yeah.
a resident that we allow for nominations and a process for electing select board members that would, and this was placed on the town, a special town meeting,
6/11/2011.
and I put that in front of you. It was voted down.
Unanimously.
And and I also gave you copies of the relevant state statutes allowing for it. And some towns do. If you want to be a selectman, you have to take out nomination papers and that's how it's done. It's a much more formal process. So this is a request from a member of the town because remember, there's the two ways of getting an ordinance onto
It's by
town meeting is
petition,
by
or-
petition,
or select
or
board.
the select board can do it itself. And
Well,
so,
let's be honest about this. I've done some reading on that too. Because we had to deal with that with the RBO back in
2012, 11?
12, 13, somewhere in there. Yeah, you can try to petition it into town meeting, but here's what's going to happen. You try to petition it into the
You're
clerk.
talking to me?
I'm telling you what's going to happen. I'll tell you what's going to happen.
thank you.
What's going to happen is that if he tries to run a petition and petition into the clerk to call a town meeting, we will immediately call Eaton Peabody and he will put an injunction in to stop it, which will cost the town more money. Because we are well within our rights to refuse because illegal and unconstitutional parts are part of the ordinance. That's where it's at. So, if you want to run up a bill for the town, people can be free to do that. Obviously, the individual involved, we're probably looking $5,500, $6,000 right now, so why stop now? Keep on a trucking.
Okay, we've already had this discussion.
So I would say make a motion to deny.
Have you jumped on to F?
No, whatever this thing is about the
This is
request
to
for
have-
the- this is E.
Yeah,
This is to have nominations,
yes.
the nominating process for election of select board members, as
Ah.
opposed to just doing it at the town meeting.
Just Brady.
Can you clarify something for me? If we do election nominations, don't we have to do Australian?
Well, that's it,
The whole thing, yeah, it tips everything, and it costs
no,
money.
it's not just a direct case of getting a nomination paper and that, there's more involved. And I think I would go along with what the citizens voted in 2011 and continue that process of being nominated at town meeting.
The Australian ballot would mean we'd have to have printed ballots, we'd have to hire election clerks, we'd have to open up the
Yeah.
community
So it's a
room.
regular formal election.
And it has to be done so many days before
And
town meeting.
yeah, the day before town meeting. Dover does it. I mean, yeah, it's really clean, right? But I think as long as we have a camera pointed at that ballot box, we've got it settled around here.
So I make a motion that we continue the present process of being
Well,
nominated.
You moved not to accept the request, right?
Right,
It was just a request. All you have
Okay,
to do is accept it or deny it. you know.
deny.
second. All those in favor?
Discussion,
Yeah.
Oh.
just real quick. Okay. I can understand both sides of it.
Mhm.
My only argument, my primary argument against it last time around was that keeping in strict democratic process, that I would always want to entertain nominations from the floor. And I know that's
Mhm.
contrary to the, all the work involved in the nomination papers and whatnot, and the Australian ballot and whatever. But I think that just in its purest form of democracy, that the availability of making nominations from the floor right up to the last minute on their second or third call from the moderator is a valuable thing. I've seen it save this town some embarrassment from years way back, even before I was on the board. And I just wanted, I would, if the people voted for it, I would like that inclusion, that it was still recognizable with nominations from the floor.
This wasn't even close.
Right.
Yeah, I
Well,
know.
and the other thing is, we've always been hanging with that if there's going to be a substantial change to town government in any way, it needs to come in by petition and ordinance, So, I mean, it would have to be petitioned in, because you'd have to see that there would be some,
Yeah, no, the simple matter of the fact is that we can refuse the request. And I've
Yeah,
made that
it's
motion,
just-
seconded, all those in favor. And I think you've already covered F.
Well, no. The recall ordinance that was presented by petition, you voted to rescind allowing it to go to the town meeting. The request under F is that you allow for the petition recall ordinance to be amended to eliminate the illegal part of it, and
He
then
still-
allow it to go forward.
He still has to petition.
Yeah,
I mean-
that's, yeah, you can, yeah, I'm just saying what the request is, and it's up to you to respond.
Now, let me get this straight now. This is in reference to Mr. Dobson's recall ordinance.
The petition,
To make a change in it
yes.
before it goes to town vote.
But
This
that
would,
wasn't what was petitioned by the people. They were looking at his
Correct.
first ordinance. So he has no justification for a change in the ordinance.
What are you talking about?
Be- Well,
Yeah, explain to me what the conversation is here.
I did ask the town clerk if anything could be changed on a petition that was signed in and accepted and attested. And she says, no, you can't make any changes at all. That's the word I got from her.
Especially when you put the numbers and you had carefully identify it, and this is what
Once
it
it's-
is.
When does this change come into play here? Are you misunderstanding something? or-
This
maybe,
is-
it's your email, Rick, on change the recall of municipal officials to read this section here?
This is a question how you, what I'm asking you board to do the alternative ordinance. I
Right.
can't change nothing.
Okay.
Right.
I cannot change nothing. I have
So we're not talking about your
I'm not talking
offering.
about mine.
This is to
What
the
I'm
alternative
asking is
ordinance.
to do what's right, legal, and fair, and put our ordinance on the warrant. And put your alternative ordinance right directly behind it. Your alternative ordinance is I'm suggesting changes for you people to make. And I'm been perfectly willing to discuss any changes that you'd like to make, but you guys will not discuss it. It's your way or the highway. That's it, period. So, all I'm saying
Oh,
is,
please make this stop before I
all I'm saying
explode.
is, what makes this unreasonable to refuse is the fact that one of the board members insisted that I add this appointed into the recall.
Well, that's
No, I
ancient
did
history.
Yes,
not.
you
You
did.
are such a
All right.
liar.
This,
Oh my God.
Please,
But
yeah, well,
I have the floor.
you dropped this too.
I have the floor.
You're done. You're done.
you
We're
don't
not
have the
doing it.
floor.
Go home.
She's calling me a liar.
No, you are a liar.
Well,
Listen to your tapes. Listen to you have.
I'm
these
not
tapes.
listening to the tapes. All
Okay.
you do is take stuff out of context and lie to people.
yes,
No,
now,
I'm putting out
the
facts
details,
backing up what I'm saying.
You are
No, you're
nothing
not.
but a waste of money to this town. Have been for 2
Hey,
years.
you're the one that's doing it. You're the one that's resisting.
Oh,
Hold it,
resisting.
hold
I'm
it.
trying
That's
to, I'm
enough.
trying to keep us out of court.
okay, Melissa, ignore it. And
Just
you be
let's
quiet,
vote
you
this,
drop
get
it.
it done with, and get
There's
him
no
out
more.
of here. Enough of it.
No more,
I'm just trying to clear you up.
there's no
There's
point. I
nothing
did
that you
not
can possibly
realize you were
clear up because
talking
you don't
about
even know what the
the
truth
ordinance
is
we've been
anymore.
presented. But it don't matter, we're not gonna consider it. I make a motion that we do not consider his email request.
Don't surprise me a bit.
I'll second it to get it into discussion though, because I'm still unclear.
You're
About-
unclear about the crap he's done in the past 2
No,
years?
no, it's, I'm not talking about past, I'm talking about what's in front of us right now. What, could you please, in simple terms, ask, state what you're asking us to do again with the paperwork that I just got today, Rick?
I thought I did, but I'll try again.
Okay, please.
All I'm asking you to do is follow normal procedure. If normal procedure is when you get an ordinance that is petitioned or a petitioned ordinance, you look at that, you send it to the attorneys for a review. If there's any issues with that petitioned ordinance, you address those issues with the petitioner and try to come up with some agreement that's acceptable for both of you. And you make changes or
Meaning
alterations.
working with the alternative ordinance.
Yes.
So are we understood that we're pushing aside your original ordinance altogether and we're going to work on this alternative ordinance?
It will
To
be
get the proper-
on the warrant, and it'll be in front of the people with a recommendation to pass over it and accept the alternative ordinance, just like you've done with thousands of other petition ordinances.
But they
Unfortunately,
already voted, the vote already was taken not to put your ordinance on.
The attorneys told us not to do
So I
it.
do
What
have a
is difficult
recommendation
to
for that.
understand here about the attorney
I
said, don't
have-
do it.
I do have a recommendation for that. The law states a recommendation for that.
Oh,
If
no,
the
no,
board
no.
refuses, unreasonably refuses, and this is
Well,
what
but
makes it
that's
so
the
bad.
secret right there.
And the
We
attorney
have
says it's not an
totally
unreasonable
reasonable
refusal.
Refusal.
This is what makes it unreasonable, because you have a remedy to follow the normal procedure.
No, no,
It
no.
doesn't
no,
work
no.
that way in
You
this
can
case.
run up another bill for the
Only
town if
before
you want.
a judge would say that.
Well, you go ask him.
We have our, the
You have to
town's
ask.
No, we
lawyer
don't
said,
ask him.
don't
We're
do
all
it. What's
set.
so hard to understand about that?
I'll get another Republic, do it. and
Do
don't
it,
have to ask.
you can't. You go ahead.
There's another bill for the town, thank you, Mr.
No, it's,
Dobson.
Mr. Dobson will be hiring the notary public himself.
Yes, but we'll have to answer it with that, and that will be several $100s
I don't-
again.
I don't think so.
So why can't we just concentrate on this alternative ordinance?
I'm not
to get-
putting an alternative ordinance on because he has nothing. Thad said, don't put it on. That's good enough for me.
That's right.
It's an opinion.
And it's a legal opinion.
It's a legal opinion where yours is
Furthermore,
your,
we
private
will
bar
not, cannot
association
put
over
your
there.
original ordinance as petitioned on as a warrant article because it throws us into an area of questionable issues where future lawyers might chew us all up. So we don't dare even include it in the warrant articles.
I've
And,
done it for years and years.
we
but
have
it was
not.
not a legal issue involved,
Because it was, a lot of them was.
not that I'm aware of.
So,
What you're
So-
talking
Melissa,
about.
can I ask you a question? So what you're wanting to do is negate the alternative ordinance?
We have an
altogether?
alternative
I mean,
ordinance.
yeah, we have one in the
We-
hopper now, and it's in
And we're
legal
gonna put
review.
that on, and we're gonna present that to the town, and if they like it, they'll vote it, and if they don't, they don't.
So we've given those signatures.
We have tended to them. We have given them, no, you may not.
No,
Can I speak to Tom?
no,
No, we're
No.
done with you. Be quiet.
no.
No,
Chair's
just
in
be
control.
quiet.
So,
Tom, we've done, we sat down for what, 2 hours
we
ago?
bent over
We
backwards.
bent over backwards, we said, yes, they wanted I heard, the one that convinced me to do it actually was Diana Bowley. She said, well, there might be reasons why we might want this at some point. I said, fine, so let's put it in terms that you and I and Bill understand that are fair, that are quantifiable, that are not just somebody has a political or a personal angst and decides to turn the town into turmoil
Okay.
and create us endless bills. I mean, we have just sat through the budget process where they convinced over $250, and this is up to $6,000 at this point, and it goes on and on and on.
So why can't we work together?
I am working
Because-
together. I am working together.
Because
We are
in
done.
order to
Done.
present a modified version of his petition, we'd have to put his original in as a warrant article.
And we'd have to send it back down to Eden Peabody and make more bills.
And there's no way we cannot afford to have that petition article, warrant ordinance, appear in, as a warrant article.
I mean, it was
So
hideous
we
enough.
can't have a freestanding ordinance that we can put together to put on the town warrant?
Yes, but not one
We
that's...
just did. That's what's down to Eden Peabody right now.
You guys did that before you even got the letter back from Eden Peabody. You had to
Because
bring
we
it up.
didn't
Yes,
like
we
your
could,
ordinance, we
because
knew
it
where the
was-
problems were.
None of that, but it was suggested to us a year ago that we do it ourselves.
Don't believe that.
Well, that's all right. Anyway,
All right, come on, let's stop this. I mean, enough of this is enough of this. Let's just vote it. If Tom doesn't like it, so what?
I think we will deny him his, make a move to...
We have a motion.
What's the motion?
The motion is to refuse the request.
Then
You
it's
made it,
second.
you made it, Tom seconded it.
All those in favor?
Now, just to clarify, the request is based on what?
It's the request, it's the email request right here.
Okay.
He wants us to
Dated
take
February
appointed
22.
officials out of it and put it on the warrant anyway.
His ordinance. We
his.
can't
We can't
change
do it,
that.
absolutely, that's
We
the
can't
point, we
change
can't
it.
do it, yes.
That's what I asked the town clerk today. We cannot change it.
No, you can't change it. You're not asking me to change it.
Well,
Asking me to change
the
it.
vote is, I've asked for a vote
All right.
on the request.
No,
I'm
Abstain.
I'm abstaining.
can't
No,
abstain. You
either
can't-
yay or nay.
Yay or
You
nay?
have no personal interest in
No,
it.
you have no personal interest in this, you don't have anything going. You need to yay or nay it.
All right, I'll yay it.
So it is unanimous. Item 9, road issues.
You have a road commission, excuse me, you have a road commissioner's report.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments or anything else about the roads?
I have,
Yeah, they were awful slippery the other last night.
Yeah,
They were
well-
terrible.
but it wasn't only town roads. State road wasn't too good either.
No, well, 23 was a little, I'll tell you, the ride down Flanders Hill Road was interesting. The only comment I would make is that, because I stopped today a couple of times and pulled some tree branches that are on the shoulders of the roads, that maybe if there's any other ones that are left over.
Yeah, there's a tree down or something on the French's Mills Road, so I'll ask Peter to check
Yeah, if
all
he could
roads
drive
tomorrow,
around.
to make sure that there aren't limbs and
That,
things in
that
the
tree
way.
was hauled off.
Pardon?
That tree's been hauled
Has
off.
that been hauled off? I know Warren said he used his plow to push it out of the way,
Mike Wack,
and I think Michael went in and
Oh, good.
used his
tractor.
tractor
On the
to...
southern end, we're used to solving our own problems.
Well, you belong more in Dexter anyway.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's all we had. I mean, there was a lot of ice.
We're the burbs, man.
I spent a half an hour this morning pulling
We're
branches
close to
off.
Dexter. It's 5 miles from us, from my house to the Dexter Fire Department. But it's
I'm just equal, equally mid between Sangerville downtown and Dexter, traffic light. It's 5 miles, maybe a 5 and a 10.
yeah, we're the burbs of Dexter. That's what's wrong with us.
But I'm in the Piscataquis County. Don't want no damn part of Penobscot County. Road committee,
No, appointments now.
appointments. Road committee additions.
With the 5-member road committee is down to 4, I'd rather have it closer to 7.
Yeah.
And so I have some people to recommend that we approach.
We have 3 people right here.
One's already on it.
I thought Brooke, sorry, you're not on it?
Rick Pellerin, Richard Cabot, Brent Randall.
He's already on it.
No, it's not.
Well,
I don't think so.
He was.
Was.
Yeah.
Him and Dan.
Warren was.
That's right.
He was on it.
No.
You want to be on it?
No, I did not.
How about John?
No, he does not either.
The committee assignments for road.
Huh.
You are running, Brent, I'm sorry. It's Gerald Jackson, Ron Smith, who declined, Brent, Dale Gray, Virginia Walk. So, Rick Pellerin, Richard Cabot, Warren Newt asked to be considered.
He can't because no, that'd be conflict for him.
Yeah,
Pardon?
that would
Be
be a
conflict for
conflict.
him, and it kind of would be for George too.
And the same thing with Kelly
I know,
Jordan.
but-
Same thing with Kelly Jordan.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no. And Chummy really can't be, if he wants to get contracts from the town, he
Well,
can't.
he was sent the ethics ordinance.
Okay, so if he comes to the meetings, then he
Yeah.
can.
So, Richard Cabot, Rick Pellerin,
Mm-hmm.
any other suggestions? Brent, you got some suggestions?
Not really. We're just figureheads anyway.
Well, somebody's got to figure the head
That's right, that's right.
Well, that would get us up.
to 6.
Yeah. There should be like another woman somewhere. I mean, this is not, I mean, I hate to, and I know this is masculine territory, but culverts are not that difficult to wrap your head around.
Well, I know who I'd like to see on it, but she moved out of town,
Yeah.
damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Donna.
She really ought to be a resident.
Yeah, Donna should come back to us.
I mean, she's a mailman. There ain't nobody knows roads better than her.
Put a sign-up sheet up at town meeting.
Yeah,
Well, that's a routine.
Yeah, we will
practice.
again anyway, yeah, okay, just thought for now, all right,
that
okay,
sounds good.
thank you.
So, do we vote on appointing those two?
Oh, do they want
Or
me
they
on?
agree.
Well, I'll find out if they want to be on.
Okay.
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 And
No
then-
reports.
No reports. Consent items.
I signed them all. Tom's still got an issue.
Well,
What's your issue?
So just to clarify, no to warrant because of the ethics, where
Yeah.
he's contracted.
Yeah.
right.
Which
There would
is,
be conflict of interest.
which is the same thing with Kelly Jordan.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, that's
And the
understandable.
same with, if Chummy comes and participates, then he
Right,
can.
he doesn't get to work.
He doesn't
Right,
get
that's,
to work.
that's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys aren't gonna talk.
That's why I was here for.
That ain't good.
10A, that's why I was here, right? Thank you, people.
Okay.
You're welcome.
See you, George.
Thank you, George. Ken, do you know anything about what the bill was for the Greenway equipment sales? Did something happen to the little John Deere four-wheel drive tractor snow blower?
I don't know about that one. I know the pickup truck is got a fuel line break.
Yeah, but that
Says
has nothing to do with
it'll fix it.
Greenway.
Blade, idler, cable, spacer.
Well, he was out there in the ice with it last week, and it was doing the job, so he must have had it all cleaned up and running.
He didn't put anything in his report about anything about it either, did he?
No.
No, it was just a 5,500.
Yeah.
Well, see, that was part of the
3,500.
complaint. Was
Yeah,
I
whatever.
don't have to spend a whole day writing up the reports. And I said, all you have to do is tell him. So
Where is it?
Well, now that we have this, by the way, now we can.
it's
Yeah, but that,
Okay.
did you sign it?
I did sign it, yes.
Hit.
Just give me less than 15 minutes and I'll
You got 5.
check. Okay. I was going to bring my stopwatch in to contest what you said last. But
I'm gonna bring my
I
freaking
don't
bull
wanna-
whip next time we keep having meetings like this.
I think we done away with, took care of most of it tonight.
No, it's far from over.
Oh, it's not, it's far from over, but as far as the contentiousness within our select board meeting,
I'm
And this-
sick of it. It's gotta stop. I mean, this crap that goes on and on and on and on and on.
and his ability to take from anything he reads and take out what he wants to make it say what he wants. That is
It's called cherry picking is the term for it.
cherry picking or,
Yes.
what the hell's the other one?
Intellectual dishonesty of the highest grade.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back to my rhetoric classes of years ago, and I can parse out exactly the argument and why it's fallacious. So, and this is why we all have good liberal arts educations, right?
That's right.
I don't.
Ken's the only one I've come across, and my father would so appreciate your history degree, because you can do anything in life if you've got a good liberal arts degree behind you, because it teaches you how to think.
Well, I'll disagree with you on that one.
No comment.
Engineers teach you how to use your mind.
can I?
My father graduated from the same school, the same program he did.
Oh, really?
A few years earlier.
A few years, yeah. Yeah, he'd be 105, 106.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a school teacher, school administrator, and my grandfather built bridges. So yeah, it kind of flips generations. And my brother builds computers, so
Again, technical.
technically, yeah.
30. How am I doing on time, Bill? Okay.
Well, you've got 30 seconds.
Off the rush. I hate making mistakes.
Well, you're lucky I don't have a hockey game on tonight.
No. What do you listen to? Is it the?
The Bruins.
Oh, I thought you listened to University of Maine Black Bears.
Well, They're not on but once in a while.
They had Red Ginrin on last night again,
You know.
and the third.
Ever since they
Wednesday.
went to this Mickey Mouse outfit that covers them now, they kind of turns me off. They do a piss poor job when they
Mickey
do.
Mouse, well, the record's not doing too well.
Well, that's true too.
Winning means a lot, right?
Yes, of course.
The effort's good, but. 32, where are we here?
Cover it all, don't we?
Okay, signed, sealed, and delivered.
Make a motion, we approve the following consent items, treasurer and payroll warrants. Numbers 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. Make a motion?
33.
You got 33 and 34
And
also.
34.
You got the early agenda.
Oh, fine.
You didn't get the one that was 30 seconds later.
That's why I said I need to put minutes besides the 30 on there today anyway.
There is a 34.
Every time I
30.
printed it off, someone came in with something else.
Well, I don't want it.
Well, it's got
I've got the
33
notes on this one, and that's the one that's gonna stay.
Okay, so 33 and 34?
Yeah.
Do you have a second, Tom?
Second.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Done.
Done. Item 13, abatements and supplements.
Yeah, they didn't
Started already.
catch the deck.
Oh, this is last year's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moved before commit. How much? What was the
Make a
amount?
motion to approve.
What, $30-some?
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Yeah, I'd fight for it too.
3108.
Okay, just for your information, this is where Mr. Gray lived when he lived on the Bean Hill Road.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Oh, okay.
All those in favor? We have something, a signature,
Yeah.
sign.
Do you have some?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll get this signed, then we'll make like a hockey player and get the puck out of here.
Yeah, they had seniors night at the sports place last night with the hockey players.
Oh, yeah. Well,
They only want to hang out with the little girls, though. So. They only hang out with you, see?
I haven't been back to a hockey game since they did their remodel. The parking issue has gotten to be so damn ridiculous.
My son-in-law there, Scott, the Canadians, years ago the Canadians beat the Russians in a hockey game, remember that big thing? They made a movie of it, and Scott actually got to play one of the Russians in the movie.
Was it
We had played
Canadians
Russian.
or the
He got to play
Americans?
Russian,
I
yeah.
thought it was the American team in the Olympics.
Well, there's different times.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So they played the
I'm
Canadian.
going way back then,
Yeah.
I guess, right?
No, well, it's 19,
In the 80s, I
Was
think.
it 80s?
It was in the 80s or
It's a
so.
big thing.
yeah, it might have been in the 80s.
Yeah, it was a big thing.
Okay, anyway,
Yeah.
nothing else, make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor? At 8:48. That sounds good.
Yeah.
It's the latest meeting you've had.
Well,
Is it
yeah.
off?
No,
Is it off?
7:48.
Is that off?
You say 8:48? 7:48.
You're right, my mistake. Ooh.
Here, I haven't got it off because I have trouble
Wow.
getting it to quit.
If it was me, it'd already be